What up, world? This your man Big Zizzo coming from the city of Wynn, Chi-Town, born and bred. Trying to deal with this sweltering ass heat right about now. First things first, as always, I got to give a shout out to my mans and them over there at DotGuided.com, repping real hip hop, where real hip hop lives. Check them out. You don't know, hey, I'm letting you know now. They keep it real over there. I've been repping the council since 2008. So good, big shout out to my homeboys over there. What I want to do is, I want to have like a series of videos where I give other coast, well, other regions, a little shine or whatever. I'm not, far as like I want to do like a best MC list from like the West Coast, from the South, from the Midwest, and the best album list from each one of those regions as well. I'm not gonna do an East Coast one because number one, most my my top 10 MC list, most of that is East Coast rappers, and my top album list, most of those are East Coast albums. So I feel, you know what I'm saying. We know East Coast hold it down when it comes to hip hop. So I want to get shine, a little shine or a little light to some of the other coasts. So what I was trying to do was do a greatest album in the history of the West Coast. And I, you know what I'm saying, I sat down and did it or whatever. And I was writing down album after album, whatever. And I didn't realize how difficult it would be to come up with a top 10 list. I wrote at least 50 albums down. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna I'm not even gonna put some. I'm not even gonna put them. I'm gonna tell you what my favorite, maybe my favorite West Coast album is of all time, and then I'm just gonna go from there and name some of the other ones that I thought were some of the best. I'm gonna run through them real quick, and I know if I forget any, my homeboys at Doc Got It, they're gonna hold it down. They're gonna let me know where I messed up at, and what I omitted. So what I'm gonna do first, I'm gonna say what my favorite West Coast album is of all time. Maybe my favorite two or three. My favorite West Coast album of all time would probably have to be Ice Cube's America's Most Wanted. That album came out with tape, because back then I was still buying tapes. I was buying tapes up to 2001. Probably the last person on earth still buying tapes, but whatever. Topic for another day. This tape came out in the 1990s, which was memorable for me because that's the year I graduated from high school. And I remember that whole summer, me and my guys, we still friends to this day. We hung out all day, every day up at Rainbow Beach. If you've been in Chicago, you know what I'm talking about. And we listened to this tape all day, every day, from beginning to end. So if I had to say what my favorite West Coast album is of all time, it's definitely America's Most Wanted. My second one came out in 1989. And this to me, when people talk about how great Dre was, to me, this is where the conversation should start. And that's no one could do it better by the DOC. I understand DOC came from Texas, I believe, or something like that. But, him coming on Ruthless Records and hooking up with Dre made this a West Coast album. And that album is great. It just barely lost to America's Most Wanted. To me, it's still the best album in the history of Ruthless Records. My number three album would be 93 Till Infinity, Souls of Mischief. An incredible album. There's nothing else to be said. The Hieroglyphics crew is one of my favorite crews in the history of hip hop. I mean, it's very rare that they've dropped anything that I have been disappointed with. My number four album is the best album lyrically of all time to me, as far as hip hop goes, and that's Soul on Ice. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, the beats," and that's fine or whatever. Maybe you know what I'm saying, but to me, the beats weren't as bad as people say. To me, the beats made you pay more attention and put more emphasis on what was coming out of the MC's mouth. And line for line, to me, this album is better than Paid in Full to me. It's better than Illmatic, Reasonable Doubt, you name them. In my opinion, this is lyrically the best album ever made in hip hop history. All right, then I had a number five. Number five would have been Straight Outta Compton. Straight Outta Compton was a great album, very controversial, but I feel like, no one could do it better. Was a better album than Straight Outta Compton, and I also feel like America's Most Wanted was better than Straight Outta Compton. When people think West Coast And the best albums on the history of the West Coast, they always say Straight Outta Compton. In my opinion, it wasn't. But anyway, then I have like a list of honorable mentions. I want to say I didn't want to put them in too much order because it'd been too difficult. But you know, you had Ice-T, Ryan Pace, The Power, both are great albums. You got Pharcyde, Lab Cabin, California, and The Bizarre Ride to the Pharcyde, which was incredible. AC Alone, who's always forgotten about. When you talk about great MCs with All Balls Don't Bounce and Accepted Eclectic, which he probably gets more credit for All Balls Don't Bounce, but I think Accepted Eclectic is better. Tupac, who I feel is the only MC in history that's overrated and underrated at the same time, which is a topic for another day. But his first three albums, Tupacalypse Now, Strictly for My Niggas, Me Against the World, and Machiavelli were all great albums from the West Coast. NWA, Niggas for Life, which is another time where I thought Dre was incredible on production. Above the Law, Living Like Hustlers was great. West Side Connection with the Bow Down. King T, you had King T for Life. The Trifling album and At Your Own Risk were all incredible. Low Profile, one of the most slept on albums in the history of the West Coast. We In This Together, that was great. WC and the Mad Circle, another album which was slept on. Ain't a Damn Thing Changed. Exhibit's first two albums, At the Speed of Light and 40 Days and 40 Nights. You got the Licks with Coast to Coast and 21 and Over. 21 and Over is one of the best albums in the history of the West Coast, no doubt. 783, Cooler Than Cali. You got Cypress Hill's debut album, which probably would be in the top 10 if I did the top 10. You got Doggy Style by Snoop, which was a great album, but the hype surrounding it, to me, the album just didn't live up to it. But another Snoop album that I really liked, and if I had to choose one, Doggy Style would beat it, but just barely. Was Paid the Cost to Be the Boss. Whoever thought you would see the day with Snoop would hook up with DJ Premier. Lady of Rage, Unnecessary Roughness was good. Paris, The Devil Made Me Do It. MC Treble, Rest in Peace, Gotta Get a Grip. That was a great album. Coolio dropped an incredible album with It Takes a Thief. Casual from the Hieroglyphics crew. Fear Itself. Dale with No Need to Alarm. And I could just go on and on and on and on. But that was Big Zo talking about his top albums from the West Coast. And some I wrote down, you know what I'm saying, that I didn't mention. Like Spice One, I forgot about Spice One of the best MCs ever to me. And probably like as far as gangster rap goes, definitely in that top 5. You know what I'm saying? To me, he came with more different styles than any other gangster rapper. You know what I'm saying? With the stutter step style and the gotta, you know, that kind of. Spice One was incredible to me. And his debut self-titled album, Spice One of the best albums ever. MC8 with when he was with Compton's Most Wanted. Their first 3 albums. But music, if I had to choose one of the 3, I would say Music to Drive By was the best. And you know, you can just go on and on and on. Easy does it. But anyway, in a minute it's gonna seem like I'm rambling. So this your man Big Zigzo signing off. Peace to your mans over there. Doc got it. Next thing up will be the top 10 West Coast MCs, and I promise you I'm gonna put them in order. Much love to y'all. Holla.